Burritos, butts, and condoms. Those are all things that are better when they're larger. Welcome back. Our indie filmmaking saga continues. This week, our feisty little hero comes to the brutal realization that some things are not preferred to be minimalist.
All right, here we go. This monitor seems kind of small. Is anybody else taking notice of this tiny monitor? No, I think we're good. No one cares. It's all in my head. Fuck. I knew this monitor was too small. Chill out, man. It's just in my head. It's not a big deal. Why are there more people joining him? They're all looking at me. All right, fuck this shit. We gotta move this party. On the count of 3, here we go. Ah, fuck, I lost signal. Oh, I hate my life in this monitor.
Ugh, absolutely horrific. How's a guy supposed to get any sleep after something like that? But what about Fred Ritz? Anybody remember him? He used to be one of our top dogs. Director, shooter, he was everything. And sadly, now, he is nothing.
Hey Sherman, whatever happened to Fred? He was a cool guy. You didn't hear what happened with Fred? They shit-canned him a while ago. They let cool Fred go? Why would they do that? Yeah, well, seems a little shallow to me, but as it turns out, I guess they fired him because the producer didn't like how rinky-dinky his monitor was. Wait, back up, man. Are you telling me they fired Fred because his monitor was too small? Oh, buddy, as it turns out, producers really like their monitors big and girthy. They don't like these little rinky-dinky things.
Producers, huh? No, but really, we love producers. Anyways, it's a sign of the times, the things they are a-changin'. That's what old Dylan told us anyways. I mean, check out the youth over on the TikTok. They've even got it cracking on. Look at the size on that one. I would love to bring that honey home and meet the parents. But now it's time to take a self-reflection of you. What's going on at home or at your studio? What are you working with, Jack? 5 inches? Ha! I don't think that ever even was a thing. 7-inch? That's where most big boys use as their onboard monitor. 15-inch? That was so 2 years ago. Check it out. But what about this? 22 inches. Well, I guess that's pretty damn good for the little dogs. Let's have a closer look.
Well, look what we have here. We got something new in. It's the OC Mega22S. This is quite the upgrade from its little brother. I was using the Mega 15 for a few years, and I used it on a lot of jobs. It was a really cool monitor, but this one, however, is quite the upgrade. So right now, I'm just have a signal running from my MacBook Pro over here. It's just running via HDMI, and this is just a screen grab from a pilot that we shot back in February, March that I was the cinematographer on. Just a random screen grab. Probably not the best one. Let me see if I can find something else. Here we go. This is kind of a funny frame. Maybe we'll just use that one. Okay, yeah, it's not so white. Anyways, but first what I want to do is I want to kind of twirl this around and show you how I'm currently powering it. So, nice little handle up top here. I really love that. I'm powering it with this 300 watt-hour V-mount battery. Now you can get gold mount or V-mount for this. This one actually came with both. I love that we get a little cheese plate up here, just like the 15, so you can throw on your Noga arm for your wireless transmitter or whatever. We have a few more SDI ports on this one. You have 2 SDI in, 2 SDI out, 1 full-size HDMI in, and then you have a USB-C port down here on the bottom. And that is for connecting the calibration probe. So you can actually truly calibrate this thing via USB-C. So that is a big upgrade from the 15 Megamon. We got a little bit of a better baby pin adapter here on the bottom for, locking in. And then, of course, over there is the port for the AC adapter and all of that. Nice feet for tabletop style, like how I'm doing it right now. And really nice rivets on the side here for attaching the sun hood. And the sun hood is pretty nice as well. Okay, right off the bat, if you were to ask me, I mean, beyond the obvious of this being 21.5 inches diagonally across versus the 15 inches of the little one, what is the biggest advantage, though, beyond just the size? This is where it gets a little interesting, because that HDMI, it taps out at DCI 4K 30p, okay? It can do Ultra HD 4K or DCI 4K, but it's not going to let you do like 60 frames per second or anything like that, right? If you want to go into those higher frame rates, it's going to bump all the way down to 1080p because even the HDMI DCI 2K taps out at 50 frames per second, okay? And then, of course, the SDI is all 3G SDI only, so all of that is going to tap out at 1080p as well. However, does it even matter? Because the monitor itself is actually not even a 4K monitor. It is only 1080p resolution. So keep that in mind. So when comparing the two, the Mega 15 and this Mega 22S, they're both only 1080p resolution. There's a lot of factors that always come up in my brain because I hear this conversation often like, oh, I need my monitors to be 4K. And it's like, well, are you even sending a true 4K signal? In order to do that, you would have to have 12G SDI. But if you're doing wireless, then is your transmitter receiver system even capable of sending a true 4K signal, right? So does it even matter? Either way, I just bring all that up so you're aware of some of the, I guess you could call it limitations. But here's the wild part. The cool thing is that it can either be a 444 10-bit signal or a 422 12-bit signal. So that is pretty rad. So right now I do have it set to the 422 12-bit signal. Why that is really awesome is because you combine that with the ability to calibrate this thing with a probe. And also you can probe it before the LUT or after the LUT. You can kind of dial in the pipeline there. And this would make for a really awesome monitor to have on set for a DIT station, you know, doing some live on-set color grading, or certainly for back home in the office using this monitor as your viewer feed monitor to just have for color grading. Beyond that, I much prefer this new navigation system that they have set up. They have this little joystick here, and it's a really nice way to toggle through all of your settings, way easier than the Mega 15. I felt like the Mega 15's menu navigation was very archaic. This one is really quite nice of an upgrade. It still feels a little old school compared to some of the other higher end monitors that are out there, but it's still nice to see quite a big jump from what the Mega 15 was offering in terms of the OS and everything. Speaking of the operating software, OC are kind of stepping it up a bit. With this monitor, they have 3 custom pages. So there's 3 pages and you just jump through each page via the joystick over there. And each page can be customized where the function buttons are different for each page. You push over to bring up the tools, and now we can switch between the actual tools by going up and down. But the reality is you can do up to 8 functions per page, and you get 3 pages total. So this is really awesome. So you can see in here, you got I just got this loaded up with the multi-scopes. So, you know, you just rotate that off and on. And of course, you can fully customize these, tell it what you want, the density, RGB, Parade, Luma. Again, you just tap that over and then you roll it, and there it is. Quite nice. We're gonna go down now to the false color. Then, of course, you can fully customize that, follow the camera, which is really cool. And that's if if you're going into that color pipeline, so you can tell it what to do, or you can make it custom or spectrum. Quite nice. And then, of course, you're in here, and then you just rotate it off and on. False color looks really good on this, honestly. And then down to zebras. So there you can fully customize your zebras, of course. And wow, yeah, crazy zebras in here. Never was a big fan of zebras. And then, of course, just your normal waveform, but you can totally customize it any way you want. I love that idea of having that little waveform down there in the bottom. The vector scope, if you just want the one vector scope up, you know, if you just want that over in the corner, you don't need all your scopes up at once. Histogram, audio meters, which is nice. Of course, you got your anamorphic D-squeeze. We got 1.33, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.8, 1.9, 2 times. Yeah, so it's going to tap you out at 2 times. There's page 3. Page 2, page 1, and then these are all the different things that you can add to each page. 3 custom pages, and you can store up to 8 functions per page, and the first 4 will be these program buttons. The other 4 will be having to use the joystick. All the scopes your heart could desire. You also have the ability to import and store up to 10 custom LUTs in this bad boy here, so that's really cool too. That's what the old school USB is there on the front. It would have been nice to have seen a USB-C for the front and the back, but I guess they reserved the USB-C for the probe calibrator. But however, either way, I guess they're not selling too many USB sticks yet that are USB-C, but aren't they? I feel like this old USB is going out the door, so I don't know. It would have been nice to have seen this front one for your LUTs get upgraded to USB-C as well, but it is what it is. That's kind of a small nitpick. Another one of my favorite advantages of the 22S versus the old 15 is that this one is brighter. It actually offers 500 more nits of brightness. So the Mega 15 tapped out at 1000 nits. This one goes up to 1500 nits. So I always love me some nits. The one kind of drawback of this whole thing of tapping out at 1080p resolution is that because this monitor is bigger, the contrast ratio of this is a little bit less than the 15. However, I cannot stop talking about that 444 10-bit or 422 12-bit signal. I just think that's really cool, especially with the option to calibrate this thing. I mean, this could be your color grading beast. I know, I know, I really have to stop saying that word, but you know, that's how it goes, man. Once the kids start saying stuff, and then, you know, the rest of us start saying it, and before you know it, we're all doomed. Other than that, this thing is going to run you $1,300, I believe. Yeah, $1,339 to be exact. So yeah, it is a little bit of a step up from the 15, but I think it's worth it. I really do. I don't have any regrets about selling the 15. And of course, we still have small little features like our little headphone port here because your SDI signal is, it is able to transmit embedded audio. So, you know, you could hook this thing up and, you know, be able to listen to the mics if you know, do everything correctly in camera. So that is kind of cool too, you know. Speaking of the embedded SDI audio, with that also comes time code. So that's, I know, another feature that a lot of people look for as well. Having those extra SDI ports is always nice. You know, you didn't have the 2 in and the 2 out on the 15, so that's rad. Yeah, I guess the coolest thing is, you know, the color support. You're talking over 1 billion colors. Yes, full HDR support, so it's really cool. All right, so this is with the hood on. I like that it snaps along the side. This is a much welcome advantage over the weird like built-in hood that was part of the case with the Mega 15. So I like that we have actual rivets on the side. It's got this little skirt on the bottom, and this will help you maintain some of that contrast that you may have lost with the bigger screen here. But I don't think you're going to notice it. The screen looks really good in real life. The only negative that I can find that I guess kind of bothers me the most about this monitor, and here we go. It is the fact that this doesn't come with a case at all. Now, in OC's defense, they do give you this really nice foam, like a cutout foam that comes with both pieces. It's really nice, like heavy-duty foam. It's cut out. It feels really good. It's not like cheap foam. So they give you really high-quality foam. It has all the slots for the accessories. It even has a nice lid on it with the little pull tab, and then it even has a cutout on the top of the lid to put the hood. It's a really nice insert, but it's just an insert, right? But they made it specifically for the Pelican 1600. Well, the Pelican 1600 will run you about $300 brand new. Now, granted, that's a drop in the bucket when you've already spent over $1,300 for this monitor, but, you know, I don't know. You guys know me. I'm very, what do we call that? Dog times. And so I went to the Harbor Freight thinking I could find a Pelican knockoff for a fraction of the price. I think over there they call them the Apache hard cases. And, well, you'll see what I found out. Came to the Harbor Freight, but they do not have a case that's going to accommodate this OC monitor. So I guess the next option is suitcases. Maybe? I don't know. There is a Ross right across the way. Let's go check it out. All right, well, I severely underestimated how much luggage is. But also, it doesn't really make sense because you either have to get a really huge piece of luggage, or you get one that's right at the checkoff for a carry-on. So a 20-inch is the cutoff for carry-on, but this monitor, you need a case that is like 21 inches or some shit. So you're like, oh, Jesus. But then I'm confused too, because I'm like, I thought the monitor was like 21.5 inches, right? But like with the foam, they're saying that with the foam, it'll fit inside a Pelican 1600. But a Pelican 1600 is actually only, the inside of it is only 21.4 inches. So how the hell is a 21.5 inch monitor that's fitting inside of a mold going to fit inside of a Pelican 1600? Like, I'm so confused right now. But also, a Pelican 1600 is $300. That's why I was like trying to like figure out a different way here, but I don't know. What the hell? I'm gonna wrap this thing in a Fernie, I guess. I don't know how we're gonna get it to set. Yeah, that's kind of the only drawback. You're kind of stuck with like trying to have to figure out how to transport it right out the box. You know what I mean? Unless you just want to keep it in the foam insert and then keep the foam insert inside the cardboard box. But that's kind of a pain in the ass. You know, you're going to have to, you know, what I would do is if you're thinking about buying one of these things, get yourself the Pelican 1600 first, you know, because you don't want to find yourself in a position where you're having to lug this thing around in a cardboard box. That's really my only qualms that I can say about it. I thought maybe there would be other things, but that really is all that it is. I'm really impressed with the new like page system, having all those function tools, customizable pages. You know, it's still a little Atari looking, you know, in terms of like how it looks aesthetically, you know, but at least the scopes look good. The false color looks really good. And I love that you can program in all the specific gamma curves and picture profiles, log profiles from all the different cameras. I really think that's really nice, especially when you think about if you want to take advantage of this thing's 444 10-bit or the 422 12-bit, lean into that, get it calibrated with the probe on the back. And again, I think for the hardcore color gradists, this might be something to look at. But I do understand, you know, it's $1,300, but at the same time, take it with you to set. I mean, this thing's going to be killer. You know, clients love having monitors. Everyone loved the Mega 15, but now this one being 500 nits brighter and bigger, you know, yeah, everyone's going to go for this too. It's quite nice. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm stoked about just to have like the new sun hood. I was not a fan of the way with the 15 with the built-in hood as part of the case, but hey, at least we got a case with the 15, right guys? Either way, thank you all for stopping in. Look, guys, there's plenty of ways to support the show, but the easiest one is to just tap that subscribe button, hit the share button, and hit the like button. That's the #1 way. But if you want to find other ways, just, you know, use the links down below. Those are partner links at no extra charge to anyone. It's just a great way to support the show. But we also have YouTube membership videos exclusive for YouTube members. And, of course, always the Patreon where I break down jobs such as this pilot that I was showing little sneak peek grabs of earlier. Anyways, we'll see you in the next one, guys.
Burritos, butts, and condoms.